I was the woman your eyes slid past in an elevator, the quiet one who kept the calendar from exploding and the company from catching fire. Then my CEO invited me to dinner, just a simple thank you. At least that's what he said. The night I walked into that restaurant, he forgot his script. I forgot my fear, and the life I'd been shrinking to fit finally tore at the seams. I'm Clara Hayes, and for years I ran the invisible machinery of Cole and Hartwell. 7:45 a.m. Badge and coffee black screens on the quiet hum of a floor that only looks effortless because someone like me oils every gear. Folders in the right place reports out 5 minutes before anyone thinks to ask. Birthdays remembered, travel disasters dodged at the gate. You get the picture. People respected me the way you respect a fire extinguisher behind glass, useful in an emergency, ignored the rest of the time. The emergency came on a Tuesday. A merger worth more zeros than I could count in one breath started to unravel. Wrong red line sent a signature window missed across time zones. A liability clause left floating like a landmine. Panic roared in the hallways, then went silent once people realized they had no plan. I didn't panic. I pulled every version color-coded. The mess woke a deputy counsel at 1:13 a.m. with the sentence, "If you initial page 47, we can reopen the portal without triggering penalties." He said, "Who told you that?" I said the calendar and pushed coffee past midnight until every box turned green. By dawn Friday, the deal lived. No balloons, no speeches, just me washing my face with hand soap and laying fresh printouts in the boardroom, like they'd appeared out of thin air. Ethan Cole, late 30s presence like a lighthouse, not much small talk, appeared at my desk that afternoon. "Clara, can I steal 5 minutes?" In his office, he leaned on the desk, which is worse than sitting because it feels casual and serious at the same time. "I went through the Barotech thread," he said. "You didn't just keep us afloat, you turned the boat around." I said, "Just doing my job, because that's what people like me say." He shook his head. "Let me thank you properly." Dinner. No board, no speech, no strings. My heart did a small, annoyed drum solo. I muttered something about not owning anything appropriate. He almost smiled. I doubt that he said, then gave the polite corporate period. A nod, a return to email meeting over. My best friend Lena showed up at my apartment, like she had a tracking device on my anxiety. Red jacket, loud laugh, zero patience for beige. "You're not showing up to dinner with Mr. Tall and intense in a skirt that looks like it files taxes for fun," she said, already in my closet. I told her it wasn't a date. She rolled her eyes. "Then dress for you. The you who's been hiding behind competence. Let's go." At the boutique, we were last through the door. I tried navy, I tried safe, then I tried the dress. Deep emerald off the shoulder fitted where I'd forgotten I had shape. Lena went quiet, which is how I knew. "There she is," she whispered, and for a second I didn't recognize the woman in the mirror. Chin lifted, eyes awake. And then I did. The Beacon is the kind of restaurant that pretends not to notice its chandelier. I gave my name, and the hostess straightened like she'd been called to the principal's office. Ethan sat near the Windows phone in hand, poker face set, until he looked up. The mask cracked. He stood too fast, the chair skated, and he said my name like it had color he hadn't seen before. "You're right on time." Did he stare? Yeah, that happened. But not like a cartoon, not like I was an object. More like he'd been listening to a song in mono and suddenly heard it in stereo. We talked food, which sounds small, but when you've spent years translating the egos of powerful men, being asked if you like sea bass feels like a revolution. Dinner eased from safe topics into the real ones. He listened, really listened, the way people in charge forget to do. He remembered I drink coffee black and hate squeaky styrofoam, which I had said once in passing months ago. He asked what I wanted outside of work, and the truth slipped out before I could grab it. I used to write. Stories, characters, a novel that made it to chapter 12 before I traded wonder for practicality. "Why'd you stop?" he asked, elbows on the table, voice softer than I'd ever heard it. I said the word nobody wants to hear over a nice meal, rent, and he winced with me. "Maybe we should make certain luxuries non-negotiable," he said, and for once it didn't sound like a line. Outside, wind lifted my hair, and he tucked it back, respectful, almost awkward, and we laughed because the city looked like a movie, and we were acting like people who'd forgotten their marks. Monday slapped. Elevators opened, conversations trimmed themselves in half-glances, ricocheted off glass. A junior manager smirked. Must be nice to skip a few rungs like he'd found the edge piece of a puzzle. In the break room, I stared at a sad salad while two analysts performed a whisper duet. "He'll get bored." She knew what she was doing, and for the first time in a long time I felt small. Ethan found me late, floor quiet, lights low, and didn't pretend. "I've spoken to HR," he said. "If we keep seeing each other, we'll do it by the book. If you want to stop, we stop. Nothing happens you don't steer. Choice, not pressure." It shouldn't have felt revolutionary, but it did. The twist hit the next morning. An email from a rival firm, director of administration, better pay, cleaner politics, a fresh start, where no one would mistake a dress for a shortcut. I met Ethan at a hole in the wall by the river. "I got an offer," I said. He didn't flinch. "You deserve it," he said, then added the thing that broke me open a little. "I don't want you to leave, but I want even less to be the reason you stay." That weekend it rained like the city needed rinsing. I spread old notebooks across my coffee table, sentences I'd scribbled between crises, characters who'd waited for me in the margins. And I asked myself a question I'd dodged for years. Who am I when I'm not the one holding everything together? The answer scared me, free, but it wouldn't let go. Monday, I wore the navy dress that means decisions and printed my resignation on good paper. Ethan looked like someone had told him the ending before he could enjoy the middle. "Sterling Wade?" he asked, naming the rival. "No," I said, and felt calm settle in like a chair pushed all the way in. "I'm leaving to write. Not a fantasy. An actual book. An actual shot at the life I shelved." He walked around the desk, took my hand, and there was no argument in him, only pride. "Then go build the thing only you can build," he said. "And if anyone calls it selfish, call it maintenance." 1 year later, I stood in a small Brooklyn bookstore with string lights that made every face look kinder. My novel, The Woman in the Windowless Office, stacked in neat towers that made my throat tight. I talked about competence and how it can turn into camouflage, about being respected, but never really seen, and the room breathed with me. A young woman in a cardigan told me she worked reception at a law firm and felt like wallpaper most days. "Your book made me feel less invisible," she said, shaking. I signed her copy, "To the main character in your own story," and told her the truth I'd learned the hard way. You're not broken for wanting more. Ethan came, of course. Not with spotlights, with presence. Leaning against the back wall in a navy jacket, eyes soft in a way that made my pulse jump, like it remembered something sweet. After the signing, he handed me a small box, a pen matte, black, weighted right, and a look that asked a question before the box in his pocket did. Simple ring, single stone, not loud, not performative. I fell for you the night you walked in looking like a goddess, he said. But I stayed in love with the woman who kept everything together without asking anything back. I laughed and cried at the same time because, yeah, that happened. And I said yes, not because it made a neat ending, but because we'd already done the messy work. Consent, transparency, letting each other choose our own lives first. Here's where it gets spicy. Should a CEO ever invite his secretary to dinner even respectfully, even with HR in the loop? Was the office right to judge me on a dress and a rumor? Was it reckless to quit a steady job for a page that might not love me back? Or was staying the real risk? I don't have universal answers, just this. Love that hides you isn't love, and work that erases you isn't work worth your one life. I learned to be seen without apologizing, to write without permission, to set down the mask and keep the courage. If you've ever been the quiet one in the room, the overlooked one, the person folks only notice when something breaks, I see you. Tell me in the comments what you think is right or wrong here, where the line should be, and if you've lived any version of this story. Did the people around you judge first and learn later? Did you stay? Did you leave? Did you become the main character anyway? Your turn. I'm listening.